Welcome to Not Another Bleeping Islanders podcast
Hey.
with the very intelligent hockey Wikipedia, human hockey Wikipedia, the highly optimistic, always blunt John Dombrowski. Mike, I'll never forgive Lou Lamoriello for trading Devontae's.
No,
That's a
And
good one right there.
Me, the realist, really painfully honest Eric Vogel. We're starting tonight's podcast with a rundown of how everybody thinks the divisions are going to shake out. We will then do some hockey/Islanders free word association, and we're going to finish the podcast with a brief discussion of Matt Barzal's comments that everybody thinks are eluding Barry Trotz's system. Because I'm sure
is that why Brandon was before? He was like, "Don't talk about it. Don't say it."
We're going to leave our comments until right now. Although I think we're probably all going to actually agree for once.
John
All
just
right.
kept giving his opinion anyway. It was so
All
funny.
right. All right, Mr.
I wasn't surprised. Which,
all right.
not.
All
I
right,
opened this can.
Mr. Optimistic John Dombrowski, start us off.
Right. So, for the Atlantic, we're going to have the Leafs in first place, followed by the Lightning, the Panthers, the Bruins, the Red Wings, the Senators, and the Sabres. I'm pretty sure it's all of them. I don't think I'm missing anybody. In the Metro, we have the Carolina Hurricanes, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Rangers, the Islanders, who just sneak into the playoffs, the Devils, the Blue Jackets, and the Flyers. In the Central, we have the Colorado Avalanche, followed by the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars, Nashville Predators, Chicago Blackhawks, and Arizona Coyotes. And Winnipeg Jets, after the Predators. And then in the Pacific, we have the President's Trophy Calgary Flames. In second place, we have the Edmonton Oilers. Third would be the LA Kings. Fourth, Vegas. Fifth, Canucks. Seattle, Anaheim, and San Jose. Yeah, that's all of them. Okay, Brandon.
All right, so let's see. I'll start off with the Atlantic. So I'm gonna say that Florida will be a two-time President's Trophy team. They'll win the Atlantic. Toronto will be second. Boston will be third, because I think McAvoy coming back and Marchand coming back will be huge. They'll be fresher. And a full training camp for Hampus Lindholm. Can't stress that enough. It's going to really help their blue line.
Boston off mine? Yeah, Boston third on mine. Okay, I fucked up. All right.
I put Tampa number 4 because I think huge losses for Palat. Cirelli's out for a couple months. McDonough is no longer a Tampa Bay Lightning player. You know, they lost a lot of depth over the past 2 years. Combine their deep playoff runs, I think they're going to take a step back. I don't think they'll miss, but they'll take a step back. I have Buffalo number 5 in the Atlantic, above Detroit, who's number 6, and above Ottawa, who I still put at number 7 because their defense is crap. Aside from Thomas Chabot, their defense is crap. And we don't even know how the Drake Matheson situation is going to unfold with the Hockey Canada stuff either. And then Montreal.
Either team's goaltending.
I don't trust Detroit's goaltending. I don't trust either 3 of those teams' goaltending. I don't trust Buffalo's with Eric Comrie and Anderson. I don't trust Ottawa with Anton Forsberg, and now Talbot's out for 5 to 7 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't trust Detroit with Nedeljkovic and Husso. I just don't trust it.
I think Nedeljkovic and Husso. I actually think they're going to do pretty good.
Buffalo has a well-rounded top 4 in their defense with Samuelson, who just got a 7-year contract, paired with Dahlin, Owen Power, and Yoki Haru. And now you got Labushkin in your bottom pair. I like their top 6 with Tage Thompson, Tuck, Krebs, Skinner. Cousins and Middlestat are going to take big steps for them. They love Don Granato. So I think they're good. I don't think they'll make it, but they're on the rise. And Montreal, they're trying to be bad. They'll probably... they'll show up in the big games, but they're not going to win them necessarily. Metro, I have Pittsburgh number 1. I think they're a very fast team still. Adding Petrie really helps. how that translates into how they play in the playoffs, that's a different discussion. I have Carolina number 2. I think they take a step back because of the loss of Trocheck and Niederreiter. I don't think replacing that necessarily with a passes prime Stastny or Kotkaniemi is going to really help. I have the blue and orange finishing number 3. I don't think they're going to have 3 COVID outbreaks. I don't think they're going to have a top pair demon being out for 26 games. I don't think they're going to have a head coach mismanage these players like Trotz and Hiller did last year. I saw Eric smirk. I know he's got a different take on that. I have the Rangers 4th. I have the Rangers 4th. The reason being, I think Shesterkin will come back down just a little bit. He'll still be great, but he's not going to have a .935 save percentage until mid-February like he did last year. I think you'll see a little bit of regression from Kreider in shoot percentage. You'll see a little bit of progression from Lafreniere, but I think ultimately the regression from Shesterkin is going to set them down a little bit, combined with the Islanders' progression from reasons explained earlier. I have the Devils finishing 5th. They'll barely miss, but I think they're gonna make it interesting. But I think their goaltending is going to set them back with Vanacek and Blackwood. Capitals, I see missing. They'll finish 6th. Columbus 7th. The Flyers are going to finish 8th because they suck. They have virtually nothing to be. They have nothing to be happy about. And literally a team who had 2 consecutive 10-game losing streaks has not improved. They added D'Angelo, who's a traffic cone. He's not going to be paired with Jacob Slavin. He's going to be paired with Provorov, who I like him, but he's not Slavin. I mean, come on. And they should be tanking. They should be. They need a new face of the franchise. We don't know if Couturier is going to be the same when he comes back in a few weeks. We don't know.
Well, Couturier is also getting up there, so he's not going to go
exactly
an actual rebuild with the Flyers anyway. So they really do need a star for when they come out of this and start contending again.
Pacific. I have Calgary finishing 1st. You lose Johnny Gaudreau for nothing. But yet you salvage that by getting Uyghur,
not even
and Huberdeau, and you're keeping them for 8 more years. Huge additions for Calgary. You got Kadri to buffer up your center depth. So I have them taking a huge step. Doesn't mean I think they're gonna go, to the Cup final. I have a different team in the West making the Cup final. One that none of you are going to expect it. I have the Kings finishing. It's not the Blues, spoiler alert. Kings, I have number 2. I think long term, the Kevin Fiala addition is going to really, really help them out. I think Byfield's going to take a huge step, along with Danault and Kopitar taking the shutdown role edge off of him. And there might be a passing of the guard from Quick to Peterson. But I still have the Kings finishing 2nd. I have Edmonton finishing 3rd. I'm not entirely sold on Jack Campbell. I do like their center depth, though, with McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins. I have questions on their defense. That's why I have Edmonton falling back just a little bit. Vegas is getting old there, so that's why I have them at number 4. They traded a lot of depth over the past few years. I think it's going to catch up to them a little bit. I have Vancouver finishing 5th. I think Thatcher Demko is going to be really good for them. I still think there's a lot of question marks in their defense. I'm still not a fan of them keeping Ekman Larson still, even though they can't really get out of that contract. I have Anaheim.
That off of them, huh?
I mean, it was a horrible trade. It was a horrible trade. That you gave up a 1st, you gave up a 9th overall pick, a 2nd, and to trade away Erickson, and then you took back Garland, but yet you took back Ekman Larson's contract. Horrible. Then I have Anaheim finishing 6th. They didn't make the additions I feel like they should have made, really. I love Zegras. I love Troy. But I think this may be Dallas Eakins' last year coach in Anaheim. They'll probably move on to a different voice. And I don't think they're going to progress as much as they want to. San Jose sucks. I have them finishing 7th.
It's a really strange position for me because they feel like a team that's too young to rebuild, and yet they're rebuilding.
They should be taking a next step. But I don't. Klingberg doesn't play any defense. I'm looking forward to seeing how Strome plays without Panarin holding his hand. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm not a fan of their goaltending really. Gibson's edging past his prime as well.
Wait,
Sure,
did I miss the Golden Knights? Do you have the Golden Knights finishing last?
No, I have the Golden Knights finishing fourth.
Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, they're below Edmonton. They should be better, but I think because they're getting up there in age, they trade a lot of depth away over the past few years. That's why I have them finishing fourth. The Sharks are going to suck. They have nothing to be excited about. They should be doing whatever it takes to tank Bedard. They should be.
You keep saying these last place teams have nothing to be excited about, but they have a lot to be excited about. The possibility of getting Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
I'm saying like over the course of the season though.
Yeah,
In a perfect world, they would take a remote. They could do like a universal remote, like Adam Sandler's Click remote, and just fast forward the entire season. In a perfect world, they would do that.
I do have a question though. When was the last time that a first round pick, like a surefire first round pick, felt like a surefire first round pick 2 or 3 years after now? Because everyone's been
Wait, I talking about first overall.
Years out.
Are you
and
saying
it's-
first overall?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Surefire first.
Jack
overall
Hughes. Jack Hughes. Hughes.
Yeah, I'd say Jack Hughes.
which is not that long.
Other than that, because we've had a solid run.
Well, that's why this year is so different.
Years where people have
Yeah.
been surefire things and have not panned out the way.
No, it depends who you listen to, because when I think back to Lafreniere, I remember knowing his skating was one of his biggest issues. And right when you hear that, you're thinking, oh, John Tavares. You know, like he has the potential to be really good, but he's never going to be a superstar. You know, like that.
He
that
hasn't
you would
been,
think.
but has he been John Tavares?
No, he's
Not at all. No.
He was
But I'm
on a-
saying
a little different. He's not getting
when
the-
skating is a first overall pick's criticism, you're like, okay, this is a weak draft. That's
Okay,
that's
don't
the
get
first
too
thing
far
I
out.
think.
Don't get too
Yeah,
far.
go.
Brandon, are you done? Or did you?
I have Central. So I have Seattle's obviously going to finish last. They're going to embrace their rebuild for at least a couple more years. Central, I have Colorado winning that division. I have Minnesota finishing second because I think the third place team, the St. Louis Blues, I think their Perunovich is going to be out for a while with his shoulder surgery. You lost David Perron. You didn't really fix the rain issue, which was getting Parayko a decent partner. You lost Ville Husso and you replaced him with Thomas Greiss. You're basically going to roll out Nick Leddy over the course of the season. That's going to be comical to watch. Of course, their top nine will outscore those problems over the course of the year, but I see them falling back just a little bit more. Dallas, I see them finishing fourth. Jake Ottinger's the real deal. Jason Robertson's the real deal. I like Rupe Hintz. I don't like the Sagan contract, but he's going to be sheltered. As in my opinion, Jamie Benn, he'll be sheltered as well. I see them finishing fourth. Nashville, for me, it's all Saros. It's all Saros. He, in my opinion, is probably going to be a Vezina finalist. If he can stay healthy, he will be a Vezina finalist for that team. You saw clear as day how bad Nashville looked against Colorado when Saros wasn't in it. Like, you saw all the flaws be exposed. And you could say Tomasino may take a next step, but they still have a long way to go. There's only so much that Saros and to an extent Yossi can provide for them. Winnipeg, they're in trouble. They're going to be there's some questions. Are they going to keep Pierre-Luc Dubois because he apparently wants out? Are they going to keep Scheifele? Hellebuck's contract's coming into its end in a couple of years. And are they going to buy into Rick Bowness' system? I see them taking a huge step back. Arizona will be seventh. They're going to embrace the suck. They'll probably trade Chychrun midway through the season. But I have Chicago finishing eighth because I just think they're worse than the Coyotes. I think they're worse. They're so bad, man. Taze can't play anymore. Kane is offensively good as he is. He's past his prime. They're carrying $10 million cap hits, so you're probably not going to get a bigger return from him as you hope you will. Seth Jones is in your defense still. Your goaltending is crap. Peter Mrazek's your starter. Like, it's horrible.
It's not going to be a good look. The NHL handing the first overall pick to this team that just basically, exploded because of this sex scandal, and then.
To be fair, I don't think they really exploded because of the sex scandal. I think the sex scandal was a culmination of all of the fucking shitty ways that team has been run throughout the year. But there was a long slide for them of being awful and making poor decisions and just having really, really mismanaged what was once the most stable and successful franchise in the league.
Who are we talking about?
Chicago.
Oh, I think you're talking about Montreal. See, that's the problem, I guess, with the NHL. But it applies to a few teams, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Montreal's in the middle of that mess. You know what I mean? With the Logan Malou and whatever.
Yeah.
Mayu, yeah. And not only that, the whole Hockey Canada thing. So yeah.
All right, Mike, who you got?
So I'm not gonna give a 1 to 8 because I'm not too sure. I'm just gonna give a first and last place. My first in the Atlantic is gonna go to Toronto. I know they're having a slow start right now, but I still think they have the most well-built team in the Atlantic. I think their defense is great. I think their offense is fantastic. Their goaltending is the big question mark, but I feel like I say that every year. They still dominate the regular season. For last place in the Atlantic, and I think we'll see a surprise with Ottawa. I think Ottawa makes the playoffs, but I think last place is actually just going to be Buffalo again. I know they just signed that top four defenseman that Brandon said, but I still think their team is a nightmare. They're pretty much a one-line team on offense, and their goaltending is terrible. That's just my opinion. So I don't think it's going to be good. Then I'll go to the Central because I want to do our division last. I have Colorado finishing first, not really much of a surprise there. But I have Chicago finishing last, not really much of a surprise either. Although I have Arizona outplaying them, which I guess, not by much, but I have them probably finishing around 6th or 5th. So then we move over to the Pacific. I think I'm going to have Calgary winning the division. I really like the moves they made despite losing to Chuck and Gaudreau. I feel like they're just as good, if not better, somehow after that trade. Florida gave up a lot. And I feel like they gave up a little too much, to be honest. But, they wanted to change the scenery or basically a different look in the playoffs. So they were kind of forced into that. And last, I have Seattle. I know some people think Seattle's going to make the playoffs this year, but I still think they're going to have a lot of the same struggles as before. I think Anaheim and San Jose are also not going to do well. I'm not big on the Pacific in general. I mean, I feel like I think all three of those teams are just going to get beat up on. You're going to see a lot from Matty Beniers, but I think that's it. Eberle maybe.
Are there really people who think Seattle's going to make the playoffs?
Yeah. I saw them as 4th in a lot of the pre-rankings, and I don't really understand how because they have an okay top 6, but even on the Islanders, it would be more of a middle 6 than a top 6, and that's how I'm not too big on the team. Yeah. You could argue like their best player right now is who would you say, Brandon, on their offense?
Matty Beniers.
Is it Matty Beniers?
Yeah,
but that's a problem because he's hot. That's like if the Islanders' best player was Barzal on that first year when he came in and played 2 games and took that penalty. That would have been funny. But so last is the Metro, and I'm gonna follow up with my exact thoughts that I had like a few weeks ago. No surprises that I have the Islanders finishing 4th. Still not sold on them, but I do have them making the playoffs, so that's still a big deal. That's really all that you need to do as an Islanders team anyway. That plays.
I agree.
But I have Pittsburgh finishing first. Not really much of a surprise there. They made a lot of changes over the season. I still think they dominate 5v5. They have a lot of good offensive weapons on that team. And if they stay healthy, I think they're in first. Obviously, that's a big if. But second, I have the Rangers. I like what I see out of them. I think they're a young team that just continues to grow. They have 3 really good centers now. If Trocheck's even half decent with Panarin, they're gonna be dynamite on the power play. Easy team to pick second. Third, who did I have third? I think I moved Carolina back up to third. I like what I saw out of their preseason when I watched a game or two. I think Brent Burns is a really good fit for them. I understand why he wouldn't fit here, but he fits pretty well there after they got rid of D'Angelo. So I like the moves they made. Fourth is us. Don't really have to explain myself there. Fifth, I have the Devils. I really like what the Devils have been doing. I think they still fall short in net, like the Leafs. I'm not really too sold on Mackenzie Blackwood, but change my mind type of thing. Sixth, I have the Capitals. I think they're an old team. Don't see them getting better. And then seventh and eighth is a tough one. I think I'm going to put Columbus seventh and Philly eighth. I don't think that's a surprise. So,
All
right, Eric.
Philly eighth is a lead pipe lock.
Yeah.
They might be honestly the worst team in the league. It's a tough debate because they all their best players keep getting hurt, right? As far as I know.
Kevin Hayes is their first line center.
The problem is,
and he'd be a third line center, I think, on our team.
The problem is Tortorella is gonna just beat them out of that last place spot for no good reason. He's gonna beat them into a worse draft pick. And
he's gonna propel them into fifth place.
Okay.
And we can all be grateful because then at least we won't have to watch Bedard play for him.
The one saving grace with that team that would probably stop them from finishing last, I think Carter Hart might have some form of a bounce back. So yeah, you're right. But honestly, that offense and defense might be the worst in the league. It's close. Who do you even know who they have on defense? Let's be honest.
They have Provorov. They have D'Angelo. They have Travis Sanheim. They have Ristolainen.
I was gonna say the guy that played the first four from. Oh
yeah,
D'Angelo was a really good pickup, but he still shouldn't be your first pairing defenseman, in my opinion.
He
got better.
Right? Is he on a 1 year deal or did he get multi-year?
I think he got only 1 year, right, Brandon? Pretty sure. Brandon would know. Wikipedia guy.
Move
you don't know? Oh, he fooled him.
I think it was 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think Tony D'Angelo got 2 years.
All right, let's check the Wikipedia. Since the human Wikipedia failed us. Yeah, it was 2 years.
Yeah, it was 2 years.
Oh my God.
2 years, $5 million per.
That's a lot. Yeah, but he is good. Let's forget his off ice antics. Fantastic on the offensive side of the puck on defense. He can quarterback a power play.
He's not going to get bailed out by Slavin, though. He's playing with Provorov.
I agree, but watching him in preseason, I still think he's going to be good. I still think if that's your best defenseman, you have a lot to worry about since he doesn't play defense.
He's going to get walked consistently.
Oh, of course, but he'll put up 10 goals.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
So now is the time for Islanders. So it's not it's not exclusively Islanders. I may have tailored some of these references to each of you personally.
Okay.
Oh, no.
The idea here is to clear your mind of all thoughts and just react. I'm going to take down all the responses. Maybe we'll revisit it a couple of weeks from now.
All right.
Anybody want to volunteer to go first? All right, Brandon, you're in.
All right, yeah. So funny.
All right. Clear your mind. And the first word that comes to mind when you think Noah Dobson. Too long.
You have to say it.
I thought it was for all of us.
No.
Never play this first time.
Just you, Brandon.
Okay. First word that comes to my mind.
No, you have.
Wow.
Quarterback.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, clear your mind again.
Whatever you think, just say it. You're not supposed to think about it.
Don't think, just respond. Kevin Fiala.
Missed opportunity.
Oh, that just makes me. Now I'm sad. Clear your mind. Alex Romanoff.
Big opportunity.
I see it.
Sonny Malone.
Nah. That's got to be a word somewhere.
That works. We know what you
Right.
mean.
Clear your mind. Kyle Palmieri.
Palm tree.
Clear your mind. Clear your mind. Robert Thomas.
Blue.
Okay.
Lou Lamoriello.
Old.
That's what they hit them off.
So I think for the other people, I'm just gonna have everybody mute themselves. Mike's laugh is too distracting. Clear your mind. Clear your mind.
I will do what I can to be quiet.
Connor McDavid.
Fast.
Scott Mayfield.
Fence.
Was that fence or defense?
I meant to say defense. I couldn't say D. Or Mike.
Brock Nelson.
Pilgrim.
Mike Bossy.
Juggernaut.
Mitch Korn.
Goalie.
Arthur Staple.
No.
Hockey IQ.
Brain.
Atu Ratu.
Second round.
thinking too much. What did you say?
I said second round. Center.
No, I like second round. All right, Mike, you're up.
Poor Mike.
No, John's up. John's up because Mike's is my favorite.
Yeah, sure.
John's up
Go ahead.
next.
Mike's in trouble.
John's up next.
Okay.
All right, clear your mind. Clear your mind of all thoughts. First word that comes to your mind when you think of
Okay.
Lane Lambert,
Hopeful.
Barry Trotz,
Disappointed.
Unwritten Rules,
Stupid.
John Tavares,
Overrated.
Anders Lee,
Overrated.
Cal Clutterbuck,
Severely overrated and injured.
Soshnikov,
Fast.
Cale Makar,
Fancy footwork.
Adam Pellick,
Best.
Power Play,
Nowhere.
broke my heart. JG Peugeot,
Okay.
Ilya Sorokin,
Absolutely elite.
Sidney Crosby,
No.
Jordan Everly,
No. Glad he's gone.
Brent Thompson.
Fired.
Well done. Well, all right. John took it a little better than Brandon. Brandon's too much in his head. Brandon's way too much in his head. He's looking for the right answer, not the fast
Yeah,
answer.
Brandon was going over the articles. He was quickly scanning them.
You can't Google the best reaction, Brandon.
In his head.
Yeah. He's calculating. It's like, oh, not working.
All right, Mike. All
One
right,
word. I can
Mike.
give you 100.
Here we go.
Sorry.
Clear your
All right.
mind and stop giggling.
I'm sorry. It's just too funny. They were like polar opposites of like answers. Like John was like, no, yes, no,
No.
overrated.
Leave me alone. Stop this. Stop this.
I'm not gonna say anything about Sidney Crosby other than I don't want him around. No. Retire.
I'm like thinking of all the things he could say, and he's like, no.
All right. Clear your
All right, go
mind.
ahead.
Clear your mind.
Yeah, it's clear. It's always clear. Go.
Oliver Wahlstrom.
I mean, underrated, I think comes to mind on him.
Mike Riley.
What the fuck?
Josh Hosang.
Fucked.
Matt Barzal.
Inspirational.
Ross Johnston.
Garbage.
Matt Martin.
Useless. Sorry.
Garth
everyone.
Snow.
Unlucky.
William DeFore.
Yes. Sorry. The Habs just scored. Are you kidding me? They just killed 2 penalties and just scored.
Who scored?
Are they winning?
Just hold on. Yeah, no, they are with 2 minutes left in the game.
Monahan scored.
Monahan scored. Holy heck. Sorry. Do that again.
William Ford.
Do you say before?
Yeah.
Big.
You should have just left it off with yes. That would have been perfect.
Oh, I put both. Ryan Cole.
Big shot.
That was so perfect.
Zach Parise.
Middle 6.
Devontae.
Missed opportunity.
Analytics.
Who?
Analytics.
Useful.
Dom Luszczyszyn.
You pronounce it right. It's decision, I think.
Dom Luszczyszyn.
You want to hear the first thing comes to mind? Islanders hater. Leafs fan.
Semyon Varlamov.
Served his purpose.
At a level.
Did you say something else? It's like laggy, sorry.
All right, battle level.
Capuano.
Was that fun?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was interesting.
I feel like it was fun for John
Oh,
and
the
not so
Leafs
much for Brandon or Mike.
Well, that was
Leafs
Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto scored. Yeah, they did. Nylander.
All right. So, final segment. At approximately 1:43 p.m. this afternoon, Ethan Sears at Ethan_Sears tweeted the following: chatted with Matt Barzal a little today. Thought this was revealing. : quote, look at Colorado. Everyone's up in the play, skating fast. Carolina is so hard to play against because everyone is up and aggressive and in your face. That's kind of how other good teams play now. We got to adapt. What the hell do we think about this?
I mean, can I go first? Because this has been on my mind the whole day.
Go for it.
All right, let me start this off by, you know how many comments I saw of fans going, well, we're not the Avalanche. Well, we're not the Hurricanes. Like, he said adapt. He didn't say change. The Islanders have to adapt because if you watch how they were playing, they're never going to win a cup that way. They always played not to lose. And you know what it led to? A 1-0 Game 7 loss. And sure, you can say they were always in that game, but they never really were. I mean, they need to adapt. They need to be willing to take risks. Because if you're not, you're never going to beat teams like Tampa. It's just not going to happen. And I like that we have Lambert in because I don't think we'll ever see a Leo Komarov situation again. I think that's done. So, all right.
One can hope. However, we did fall off after he left. I'm just going to point that out.
Oh, my God. The Leafs were offside, I think. By the way, sorry. Okay, go.
John, you want to go?
Yeah, but question for Mike. What's the difference between adapting and changing?
Well, and adapting is like altering your style. Like making it slightly different without going away from the defense. But what Barzal's talking about is he's pretty much saying, let me run free. Let me play. You know, let me do some stuff. Let me have some magic on the ice. Let my line, not have to play the exact same way as line 4. You know what I mean? Let our line be more creative. I think that's what he's saying, but a lot of people are taking it as, oh no, we have to play like the Hurricanes when that's not going to happen, or you would have seen it in the preseason game. You know what I mean? You didn't see it.
Yeah.
You saw a team that was still very defensively sound, that was getting more rushes, and the defense were stepping up consistently. I think that's what Barzell's talking about, is that it's a faster league and you have to adapt to that. You can't just sit back. There's a time and a place for everything. That's
What do you think? What do you think, John? How much do you read into that quote?
I actually read a lot into it. I know I'm always the ignore everything athletes say because PR speak is bullshit guy. But I do think that he's actually speaking from the heart here, and he's being completely honest when he says that he feels really stifled and he wants to be able to play a game that suits his play style more. It makes sense.
Of
I'm
course
not
he is. He
surprised
just
that
got
he's
paid.
saying this. What was it?
There's no reason. I said, of course he is. He just got paid. There's no reason not to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's true for sure. But
He was waiting so long to say that.
is anyone surprised at all that he wants to play a style that suits his game more? Like, of course he does. It's what he's good at.
I need to butt in one more time. You know for damn sure now, we all know, it's so much clearer he was a big part of why Trotz isn't here anymore. I mean, it was like hints. You know, there were hints reading between the lines, and now he just came out and said, "Fuck that style." I mean, that's what he said.
I don't even know if that's obvious, to be honest, because you can disagree with somebody's coaching style and not want them fired. You can think that they're deploying you in the wrong way and say, we're getting results.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Montreal just scored again. Oh my God.
Hold on. Let me just watch this. Oh, you're right. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
I'm glad-
Anderson.
wait,
Josh Anderson.
Wait, you spoiled it.
I can't.
You spoiled it. Oh, they did. Oh my God, dude. The Leafs suck.
How did I
them
spoil
first.
it?
So
You're sorry.
We've all
Go
probably
ahead.
have the same streaming service.
All right, go, John. Go ahead. No,
I
I
think
illegally. I'm doing it illegally. Go.
I think Mike's right in that you do have to adapt, which is why I think it would be smart to put Barzal and Beauvillier on a wing together to pair speed so that you can actually do some of the things that both of them are good at. But you need to take the parts of this team that can be more offensive and can have more production and use them to be more offensive. Get up on rush chances more, put your defense up on the rush, pinch more, create more chances. Do all the things that are going to make you a better offensive team. Take more risks, stuff like that. You don't need to overhaul the entire team and like get away from the defensive identity.
Exactly. But I think that's what,
and that's what they're going to need to be good at to have success. But
could you argue that's what he was saying though?
I think that is what he's saying. And
yeah, but you should have seen the replies. I mean,
they need to get into modern hockey a little bit more.
Yes.
But still maintaining that identity. And I think that's what Lane's doing. And that's what makes me hopeful for him as a coach. The things he's saying schematically make a lot of sense when you look at players like Barzal and Beauvillier and Bellows and Wallstrom, and you go, all right, we have a lot of offensively forward guys that have been feeling stifled for the last few years. If we give them more opportunities to be the players that they are meant to be, we can see better versions of them on the ice.
I need the human hockey Wikipedia for this one. This is a branded thing. What game did it take Barry Trotz for him to put Wallstrom on the first line? How long did that take? Would you say 65 games, 60 games?
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it was around late February that happened.
So 50 to 60?
65, yeah.
I think the first time you saw that, I believe it was against the Rangers.
The big thing, like the Barzell quote goes so much farther because all I can think about is the screaming matches that I heard about with him and Trotz. The fact that Trotz would not adjust until they were already long out of the playoffs. And I was screaming for like 2 months, like, do something, Barry, please. Like, they've been garbage. Change it up. And then I'm sorry,
No, I get it. Brandon, what do you got?
So the Barzell statement regarding like how teams play in terms of speed and transition, I think it goes beyond the on ice product. Although you could say Salo making the team is a huge indictment on Trotz last year compared to this year. But it's not even just that. Look at everything that's happened during the offseason. Like, look at how this draft was handled. All the players majority of players they were taking can all skate. They all have untapped potential. They all have skill. You never got that the previous 3 drafts. You trade for a 22-year-old defenseman. That would have never happened when Trotz was the coach. It never happened. You never traded. There was nobody traded for 25 or under
Yeah.
during the entire Trotz regime. Like, never. And you see that. You see Sal making the team compared to a Doug Huda favorite, Dennis Chowalski. You see Romanov and Dobson a day apart in age as a second pair now. You see Bellows looking more comfortable in terms of skating and playing to his size under Lambert compared to Trotz. Wallstrom's a different story because he got hurt a week and a half ago, so he needs time to get back into the groove. Totally understand. But now Bailey's on the third line. Barzal's playing with players who can skate and keep up with him. Wallstrom can't really keep up with him. Palmieri can. So off season, during the season, it makes you really think, though, how much of a say Barry Trotz had regarding off-season transactions, for better or worse. And you're seeing a different trend since Lambert took over on what the team needs to grow and succeed. And you're seeing it how certain other players have made the team, like Soshnikov. He's a player who could skate. He's a player who could penalty kill. He's not injury prone, at least from what I saw when he, according to his games played overseas, he's not really injury prone. He's on the 4th line to start the year, and he'll probably stay there too. There's players who can skate who aren't old or ancient who are now playing for this team. And that's a huge, in my opinion, it's a huge indictment on Trotz. And it also reflects on Barzal and Trotz not seeing eye to eye either.
I agree. I think it's pretty clear they didn't see eye to eye. What worries me is,
you think it's going to be Doug Weight all over again?
Is basically what many people said online, which is when we scored goals, we also let up goals. So I think I get that it's kind of like a progression. Okay, you learn this structure under Trotz so that you can then progress to a more pressured offense without having to worry about how the defense is going to do, because now you can trust the defense and how they're going to play. But I don't know that works. Everybody's like, this is not the same team. This is not the same team as played under Wade. They've had 4 years under Trotz. They're more mature, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I don't think look at Colorado and look at the Hurricanes all you want, but I don't think anybody would compare the talent level on those two teams to the Islanders. It's not close. I'm sorry, but I just don't think it's even remotely close. So saying you want to play that way and being able to do so are two completely different things.
I would like to bring something up to assuage your fears in that specific regard.
Mm-hmm.
That Doug Weight team did not have a goaltender like Ilya Sorokin. Ilya Sorokin is a Vezina caliber goaltender, and he's a goaltender that plays better when under constant pressure. He has a higher save percentage versus high danger chances than he does versus low danger chances. He's one of the few goalies that if you put him on a team where he cannot have a good defense in front of him and gets barraged, he plays better. He plays up to the occasion, and he will stop pucks for you.
Piero Greco is still there. It's not like Fred Brathwaite is coaching again.
Rich Korn's still there as well.
Yeah, but Greco's the one who runs the show, though. Leonard has said that.
The thing is, playing in what I think Barzal is looking for, playing a more pressure on the offensive zone, it doesn't lead to more barrages. It leads to more open ice chances. It leads to more breakaways. It leads to more odd man rushes, which is absolutely the last thing in the world that Barry Trotz's structure wanted. That was the whole thing.
Sure.
cut down, minimize risk at all costs, even at the cost of offense, which I get is not a fun way to play. But when he came in and turned this team around in literally one offseason with no good acquisitions,
It was effective.
it felt like, okay, there's no other way to interpret this than Barry Trotz figured out this puzzle, but that doesn't mean that those pieces are going to fit to make another picture. I am definitely afraid that it doesn't, and that if they try to play such a wide open style, such a wide open offensive pressure style, now that the house of cards is just going to crumble. That's what I worry about. I get it, but
the defensemen that we have though are more mobile though.
Who's to say that if Lou hadn't actually acquired some real talent, like a Panarin, if you had Panarin on this team, do you think they'd be playing that style? I absolutely think that would not have been the case. You'd have that top line flying all over the ice because Barzal and Panarin would be skating circles.
Yeah, but it's the same scheme that Trotz coached back in Washington, Nashville. It's the same left wing block that hasn't changed.
System.
So
Yeah, like
You don't think it's altered at all, Brandon? I think that is. I don't think it's the same exact one.
it's
I
the
don't
same-
believe that.
It's
I-
it's the same system. It's just a different plethora of players. So
My issue is then for them to finish bottom 5 every year in goals for and then go in the playoffs and tear it up. I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? To me, there wouldn't be that much consistency. I think he did alter it a little bit because if you look at the comparison between us and the Capitals, we were giving up less chances than the Capitals.
Yep.
So something had to have changed.
Yes, they played more conservative during the regular season and
Yeah.
ramped up the intensity come playoff time. That's all that changed.
It was even more of a shell.
Also changed come playoff time is that the matchups got considerably easier.
The forecheck, you saw clear as day how the fourth line was heavy on the forecheck come playoff time compared to the regular season. They didn't lay out the body as much and ramp up the intensity like they did when playoff time happened. You saw it.
My argument with it is if you're going to argue it's the same system, you have to admit that there was some alterations made to the system to fit the Islanders style. I don't think they played exactly like Washington. I don't.
Well, Washington also
You can say-
Washington had a stronger top 6 though than
no,
the
that's
Islanders.
fine, and I agree with you.
Because Kuznetsov, Backstrom, Ovi, Oshie, Wilson, Vrana. I mean,
No, I agree with you. I just think with the personnel, Trotz did have to make a certain alteration here and there. It's not
What
the
helps-
exact same.
what helps us though is that we have a
Just my opinion.
better defense than the Capitals ever did. That's the thing. We
Yeah,
have
you don't need to argue
on paper, even in 2018-19, the
But
Islanders
we're
had a
judging-
better overall defensive core than the Capitals ever did under Trotz.
But
They had John
we're
Carlson
judging-
and to a lesser degree Orlov.
You're judging that defense based on the results under Trotz. It's different when you're playing this different wide open game.
I love this. So my argument is, how much do you think it was the coach, and how much do you think it was the players?
It's like
Because in the,
it's like
in
all
the-
the credit to the conductor and not the choir.
yeah, we always say this, and it's Grumpy. My favorite line from Grumpy is he says, "Coaches have never won a single hockey game," and I agree with him. The players have to go out and actually execute. I mean, I don't think when Trotz goes away, they're just going to forget how to play hockey. I don't think that's going to happen.
Pollock,
I
Pellick,
don't know, but I think they're going to be taught to do things that are not conducive to being a more complete team.
We'll have to see, but I don't believe in that. The coaches. That's why I hated when Trotz left, because no matter what happens, even if the Islanders do well, there's still people are going to say Trotz was the only reason that team was good, and I don't agree with that. I'm never going to agree with that. I think that's ridiculous. That gives zero credit to the players on the ice.
No. I think you should give credit to the players. Like Pellick and Pulak are not going to magically be bad because Trotz is gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're
Like,
not going to be.
But-
They're not going to turn into Cale Makar and Devon Tays. Like they're not those
Well,
guys.
I think
Not
we're
even
looking at this from a different perspective.
yeah,
They
all
don't
of us
have to
are.
be. They don't have to be. You just don't separate them.
But you guys are looking at it from a pure talent perspective, and that's only half the problem. The issue here is not that Pellick and Pulak are going to be different players and they're going to magically be bad at hockey. The issue is that their job has become 5 times harder than it was before because they're going to have to play in a system that is not conducive to them having success.
I don't think the changes are going to be that drastic.
The
No.
defense, the defense is we're judging this good defense based on a system that was structured around defense. And if all of a sudden we change it to structure these,
Okay, I got
thing
to.
around offense.
For what it's worth, I think
Yeah.
they'll be okay. They're great players. They
Yeah,
can
got another great point for you, Eric.
They've
Under
only
Trotz,
great players in the Trotz system. Outside the Trotz system, they have been losers.
no. What's interesting to me is
They're
that Barzal
underestimating
and the
how bad weight was.
No, not. I don't even think it was a weight problem. I think it was a talent problem. I think weight on a different team, they might have actually done well. You know, I think it was the fact that the Islanders only have one line. Well,
No.
then explain to me, Brandon, how Barzal, Eberle, and Beauvillier were sick and we're fine and we're far from the reason the Islanders were bad. If anything, they were the reason the Islanders looked good.
In terms of system, weight system sucked, but in terms of utilizing a proper top 6, weight did well in that regard.
That's okay. Then that's my point.
Tross was literally the contrary. Tross is like, I'm picking the system over line combos.
I have to get this to Eric.
It's
though.
literally and one system can give you more long-term playoff, success, sure. But in terms of regular season, though, it leaves things really creatively stagnant.
You think
Mike, they were
Eric?
absolutely part of the reason why they were bad. And I'll go even further here.
I don't think Barzal, Bo, and Eberle were why they were bad at all. I think they were phenomenal that year.
No, they were good. I'm talking about like everyone else stuff.
They're great hockey
okay.
players, but they force a system on the team that they couldn't handle at that point in time. Here, let me use an analogy. Probably one of the most nuclear takes.
So
that
have the other lines play differently.
Let me give an analogy here. That's probably one of the most nuclear takes you will ever hear me give. Matthews, Marner, and Nylander are the reason that Toronto's never won a playoff round.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
They play a system that makes it impossible for the players around them to actually have a cohesive unit
unless you're
play
referring to how
conservative
much they
hockey
make.
when they
then
play against teams with actual structure. And they
If
always
you're referring to the cap, I got you, John. I don't agree. I mean, you're allowed to have your opinion. I'm
saying that they fall apart in situations where they need to be structured, and the team goes with them.
I would argue
they don't have enough skill in their defense. That's their problem.
Oh well, I think their defense is pretty good tonight. They were awful, but I mean,
no, I'm saying in terms of skill, it's Morgan Riley and everyone else.
Offense, because the game runs through 3 forwards that refuse to play a structured game of hockey.
Can I get my point over to Eric real quick though? Let me just get it over to Eric. You said under Trotz, everyone got better. I disagree with you. I think some of the most important players on the Islanders did not improve at all. I think Barzal's career he's been stifled under Trotz. I think his defense has been much worse every year since Trotz took over. And to be fair, I think Lee's defense has been horrible. I think Bailey's defense has been horrible. And I don't know if that's system or that's because they're so micromanaged into how to play defense that there's less freedom for them to actually just play their game, because in the Trotz system, everyone has to play a certain way. Everyone, no matter who you are, has to be super responsible. And I think it actually makes players overcompensate. My opinion, because Beauvillier, Barzal, Bailey, Lee all got way worse defensively under Trotz. It's just you can look at it in the stats.
Yeah, I think it's I think part of it. I think the only saving grace here is if you look at it like, okay, Wait was just so wide open and didn't quite have the defense do what needed to be done defensively with that offense. But I think the optimistic take is Trotz was trying to put some round pegs in square holes.
Yes,
and some square holes in square holes, and that's why the defense worked at the cost of the offense.
That's why Nelson worked.
You can find a way to balance that, like by giving Barzal, Beauvillier, some of the faster skaters a little more leeway. Great. Yeah. I just don't think they have what it takes to play that different style. And I'll be happily proven wrong if that's the case.
I mean,
they come out and win the first game 5-1. But I really do dread them losing 1-0.
I mean, I know I have them in 4th place, but I could see them being a really good team. I mean, if things click and there's more freedom for the players that can skate, I know all 3 of them. I mean, I think the team's going to be way better. I really do. I think Barzell has been absolutely shackled. And there's experts that I look at online. I know the guys you joke about that are like analytics geeks, but they're like, if Barzell has a more wide open game, he could be a 90-point player. I mean, he has the talent, the transition, the passing stats to put up those numbers if they let him. So just saying, just my point.
We'll see soon enough.
I
right.
have them in 4th. So
All right, let's call it a podcast. Thanks, guys.
all right,
Take care,
thank you.
Good night.